King T'Challa's heart rate has fallen to 31 beats per minute.
I guess it was always going to be tough to figure out how to open this film, but I'm not sure experiencing the death of T'Challa was the best choice. I know T'Challa's still alive, conspiracy theorist, but that coffin sure seems super light. Yeah, I know these women warriors are very strong, but that coffin is empty. You know I hate logos, but I got chills from this very respectful and moving tribute to Chadwick Boseman and the work that he put into this character. It is truly a sin that he was taken from us so soon. 1 year later? Okay, now I'm just confused from a storytelling perspective why we needed the opening funeral scene. We all knew the character of T'Challa would be deceased in this sequel, so I'm not sure why they showed us his sister finding out and then his funeral if they were only going to then jump 1 year forward in time. Why not just start there? The silent Chadwick themed Marvel logo was a beautiful tribute. Would have made a much better opening. Why did you film the funeral? Including these close-ups of France and the United States, so you know they are the worst.
I now give the floor to Her Majesty Queen Ramonda.
But literally only 2 other people have spoken. There has been all of 55 seconds of opening discourse. These light daggers only seem to electrocute this guy instead of going right through him like they did the gun earlier. And as ridiculous as that sounds, I'm more upset we don't see Anika use these things again for another 2 hours.
Our foremothers gave us this spear because it is precise, elegant, and deadly.
Oh, they're doing the thing where they have a conversation while fighting, so we know it's easy.
Proof of the involvement of a member state is being uploaded to your mobile devices as we speak.
These assholes at the UN all have a hard-on for vibranium weapons, but are not concerned about whatever Queen Ramonda just used to upload files to all of their government-secured mobile devices.
Further attempts on our resources will be considered an act of aggression and met with a much steeper response. We are aware of the ongoing efforts by some to find vibranium outside of Wakanda and wish you the best of luck.
The Queen could have dropped the mic after the act of aggression line, but the script said that there was unnecessary exposition about the next scene that it paid good money for.
I thought you retired!
I thought I had too. They said that machine had a 1 in a billion chance of finding vibranium.
I'm beginning to feel like, whether it needs it or not, every sentence in this movie is going to be followed up with one about vibranium. It's highly suspect that this person's blood pressure is exactly 120/80. This drill bit looks like a giant penis, and no one looked at the props guy and said, really? Great. Splendid. Here's another movie that wants to give us mass suicide visuals for the clout, I guess. I don't know. It's like they watched Matrix Resurrections and said, let's do that. You know, you could have had these water people hypnotize everyone on the boat into falling asleep. Instead, you chose their Pied Piper melody to be a suicide song. Why? Why? This is so unnecessary. Also, I'm not sure I care how noble the water people are or how true a gripe they really have. They just killed a ton of people unnecessarily, so they just lost my vote.
It's Wakandans. It has to be.
Suspecting the Wakandans before the French.
And Ash!
What the f are we doing here with the font and the color changes for the subtitles? French was in white, Wakandan is in yellow, and now Avatarian is in blue, and the font is super gothic for no reason. Listen, Hollywood, we want to know what's being said in the foreign language with as little distraction as possible otherwise, okay? Stop stylizing this like it's part of the visual flair.
A year has passed since Queen Ramonda was reinstated as ruler of Wakanda.
The Wakandans have better everything, yet they still rely on Anderson Cooper to get their news.
I think that one day artificial intelligence is going to kill us all.
Agreed, and that day is probably next Tuesday.
My AI isn't like the movies, Mother.
Marvel tries to act like Avengers Age of Ultron didn't happen.
The Black Panther is a relic, Mother. I wasn't trying to save the mantle with the herb. I was trying to save my brother.
But still, an herb that gives you super strength is pretty useful.
How did you get this?
Asking a queen how she got something. She told someone to get it, and they got it.
The ending of the funeral garments marks the end of the mourning period and the beginning of a new relationship with our loved ones that have passed on.
Why does it seem like this is the first time Cherie is hearing about this? Not even counting the death of her father, they have been in numerous battles over multiple movies. Has she just not been going to any of those funerals?
About your brother.
Man, elephants are an amazing secret-keeping alarm. They went off right after she started revealing shit. I'm gonna need some renowned physics minds to weigh in here on the ability of shoefish to generate enough lift to make the entire man fly. And I'm guessing they're going to give me a big ol' nope about this horse.
I have more soldiers than this land has blades of grass.
Numbers and graphs, or it didn't happen. Namor's people sneakily placed this machine here, and it's all the bullshit. Director said give him a red carrot, because crudité is the new apple.
I am still struggling to believe that vibranium exists outside of Wakanda.
It can definitely be difficult to reconcile what had previously been gospel with what is now reality, but we all go through it eventually, in one form or another.
This changes everything that we know.
The Great Mound, All of the legends and fables.
And let's never bring it up again for the rest of the movie.
I do have an idea. I'm going to need the princess.
This big idea is to meet up with Everett Ross on his jog, and it is in no way clear why Cherie was needed to accomplish this.
It's not the Americans that I'm worried about.
This tracks. America is too busy tearing itself apart to be much of a bother to anyone else on Earth, except all the countries where we have military bases, and the countries we are actively bombing, but just not talking about. The Americans are quite ready to do violence, and the Queen of Wakanda should absolutely be concerned about that.
You didn't think to call?
Now, why would I have your number?
You don't have his number, but you can find his exact location on the planet? If you can do that, you can get his number. Just say you wanted to surprise him.
30 of their top guys, 2 of our best officers, friends of mine.
If you thought the Wakandans killed 2 of your friends, would you not start the conversation with that instead of the fun banter?
Is that an iPhone I see?
Primitive.
Android users.
Is it the makeup?
No.
It's the wrong shade, isn't it?
It's the right shade. 2440, you look good.
Movie creates time for this instead of allowing the characters to take an existential threat to their nation seriously, because Marvel is supposed to be the fun comic book universe. CinemaSins is not yet ripe enough for such questions.
Oh, am I getting recruited? No.
But she kinda is. The characters may not know it, but the audience sure does. God damn, look at this swanky-ass dorm room. It has 12 openable windows. Look at that square footage. Why on earth would Riri have this lamp above her bed turned on with all this natural light?
You can come to Wakanda, conscious or unconscious.
You need to be conscious of the way that you look. Walking around here with that ash on your head.
Moments like these really confuse the tone of this movie. It goes from being serious to making jokes, and then back again in a way that undermines the seriousness of what's going on and makes the jokes feel poorly timed.
I got 2065 byte encryption on that thing.
I got a 2065 byte encryption once. Doctor gave me a cream.
I had to build a functional quantum computer just to crack my own encryption.
And that's all I ever did with it.
What is it you're building here? Is it StackTech?
I said don't touch anything.
Cherie's question has nothing to do with touching. Well, technically, she did caress the blueprints slightly. Riri didn't see that, and this question only proves that Cherie saw the blueprints, which you have hung up in plain sight on this board. The feds don't think the Wakandans have run-flat tires, and I'm surprised the Wakandans don't have vibranium tires.
There's an entire YouTube channel dedicated to sightings of me.
There's also a whole YouTube channel dedicated to whatever "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" is. So don't get too excited.
Once we get to the other side of the bridge, we could lose them in Boston traffic.
The only thing I've ever lost in Boston traffic is my patience, and I don't see how that's going to help anyone in this situation.
Oh, he got an Iron Man suit!
After seeing what the Dora Milaje are capable of, you would think the team of agents tasked with the mission of capturing a group of Wakandans would be more prepared and less surprised by this. Why do the Black Panther movies' car chases have to go so hard?
We need to find an extraction point.
There's one across the river.
What is this, The Matrix? You have a spot in Cambridge, Massachusetts that can help you paint shop yourself out of the eyes of your predators like you're in a GTA game? I'm trying to remember, have I seen a movie before where a person in an Iron Man suit flies too high into the sky and starts failing on the suit, and so they start falling back to Earth? I feel like I've seen that already. But you do you, 2 hour and 41-minute movie.
The drone is no longer tracking you. Altitude 500 feet and falling.
Holy crap, she fell from 30,000 feet to 500 feet in like 3 seconds. Riri survives this. After everything we've done for whale conservation, those dickheads are on the Avatarian side. Oh, you're making a humpback show jump now, too? How are you any better than SeaWorld, Namor? Stop using sea creatures for your own purposes. Either Atuma just punched the air so hard it made a noise, or he made his staff just a little bit longer. Both are dumb. Was there a valid reason not to throw the water balloon at Okoye? Did Atuma need to prove that his hips don't lie? Cherie was unconscious from the crash, but a splash of water wakes her up. Here's a bit of product placement weirdness. He gets out of a Toyota, but the other 2 government-issue black SUVs are a Chevy and a Hyundai.
Actually, wouldn't mind apologizing to you for a couple of things I said during our marriage.
Oh, and I wouldn't mind a skip.
You will be stripped of your rank as general of Wakanda's armies.
This seems overly harsh. The enemy attacked in greater numbers and without any notice. She, at most, should be busted down to colonel.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone!
Yeah, those award nominations were well-deserved. Someone's gonna have to fix that.
Ballistics found slugs all over Cambridge. Those Wakandans really took a tour of the city.
The Wakandans don't even use guns, or at least not guns with bullets anyway, and not a single gunshot was fired during the whole chase sequence. So either you found actual slugs and are just blaming the Wakandans for unexpected wildlife, or there is way more gun violence in Cambridge than I expected.
Creo, did Shuri have her earrings with her?
I lost track of them in the North Atlantic. but the people who took her spoke Yucatec Mayan.
I realize this is an AI, but she asked about earrings and got an answer about languages.
How is everyone at home? Shore has been taken.
This very much should have been the first thing the Queen told Nakia. Well, at least before discussing the details of this greenhouse.
I recognize some of the concepts here, but you are using different material.
That is some supervillain right there. That's in every movie.
Excuse me, you got some Scream in my Black Panther sequel?
Otro que lo han buscado con mal en su corazón no han regresado.
That ill in their hearts clause is kind of everything, though, right? She's going to seek them out with a pure heart and therefore might return.
How? How is never as important as why.
Then why do you start your flashback position showing us how instead of immediately telling us why?
My mother and her village were driven from their farms by Spanish conquistadors who brought the smallpox, a hateful language and dogma from another world.
Every time I hear this statement, it sounds like he is saying that smallpox is a hateful language and dogma. Drinking suspicious tea.
The plant gave me wings on my ankles and ears that point into the clouds. I was a mutant.
Your people all changed after drinking the blue juice, so they are all mutants. Sure, you're different, but you're not special. Or is it you're special but not different? Regardless of what you are, Namor, you are an asshole.
I have to kill the scientist.
The scientist is a teenage girl. Oh, shit. This is Looper, and Namor is Bruce Willis, and he's gonna kill little kids, and I'll be okay with it, but I will not be okay with it. The 3 minutes of Namor's water slide commute are 3 minutes we will never get back. Cherie sure is experiencing Stockholm Syndrome rapidly. She's barely been kidnapped a day, and she's already in awe of her captor's culture and technology. Water sports. I shall call this gesture the open clam. The problem with all underwater human societies is that human biology is clearly not adapted to living in the water, so it will never make sense that they all have normal arms and legs as we do, and it makes even less sense that they would be as prepared to fight on land as they are.
In the depths of the ocean, I brought the sun to my people.
Fucking what? Alright, this movie needed to and should have spent so much more time here in Talokan.
It is no longer about the scientists.
The f you say?
For centuries, the surface nations have conquered and enslaved people like us.
Really? You live underwater in a protective bubble. Other than general pollution, how are the surface people conquering you when they don't even know about you?
I need to know if Wakanda is an ally or an enemy. There is no in-between.
Maybe you shouldn't kidnap their princess then, eh? You could have offered an olive branch, but instead you came with threats of violence and an abduction, and then asked your hostage to choose for her entire country, like it would be her choosing violence if she didn't take the easy choice. I feel like Namor has psychologically manipulated people before. He's really good at it.
There isn't a nation that wouldn't plunder Wakanda if given a chance.
Sorry, this is a nice line, but it's demonstrably untrue. Many nations are so used to having nothing that the thought of stealing from a wavering nation wouldn't even be an option. And at least a few nations still have morals.
Then when the threat of this nation have been eliminated, the scientists will be returned to Wakanda.
Anyone trusting or rooting for Namor at this point is a pure psychopath. He's evil, he uses evil means, and he kills innocent people, and he's bloodthirsty.
And if Wakanda does not accept, what then?
The scientists will die.
This is some stupid fucking shit right here. Someone has created a vibranium finding machine, and that threatens you. Great. Fine. And you're going to kill her despite her being a bright and promising young mind. Fine. Great. But do you truly think this will keep anyone else in the future from inventing a vibranium finding machine? And do you intend to kill every single person that invents such a machine? At what point does your moral compass break and stab you in the heart?
What type of offensive action?
Why is Vice President Elaine even here? Who and what and why is she? And so help me God, if you point me to a Marvel TV show, I will kick you in the digital crotch really fucking hard. How was this meeting arranged? Our queen will be on a beach, just far enough into the water to completely ruin her dress. Let's have your king come up out of the water dramatically and shirtless, and we'll figure it out from there.
If you tell the Americans about us, if you try to find us, or if I discover a single Wakanda ship in the ocean, I will kill the princess.
Doing reverse taken without establishing that you have a particular set of skills.
We ain't never getting out of here.
It's like the writers forgot that problem solving is the thing they wanted us to believe Riri was ridiculously good at.
Listen, I hit her with a sonic round. It's lethal from this distance. There is no chance.
The movie has this character die slowly so that we can get an explanation of this weapon that will never be used again.
I don't understand. This will mean war.
Even if that is true, and I'm sure it is, it's not like she can unkill that person, so let's f***ing go already. Are you telling me that after the events of Infinity War, the Wakandans didn't think that making a more formidable energy barrier that you can't swim under was at the top of the to-do list?
So, Miss Riri Williams, what do you think of Wakanda?
I mean, I was kidnapped and basically forced to come here, so...
Mother, you're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Sorry.
Love you, bye.
It's funny because this is the last thing she says to her mom. I guess they can just control water. Might have been cool to talk about that or show us how that works. Really anything to make this random flooding seem less random. Oh look, more suicide imagery. I hope they do this every battle.
Can I help?
Come, quickly.
And move around some stuff on this screen, which you obviously know how to use, despite never working with this technology before.
The Fishman.
You're under attack by an underwater army using water bombs, and you're surprised their leader is the Fishman? Not saying it's impossible, but it is really fucking confusing how the Queen got Riri up and out of the water, but still managed to drown. It's just another thing to add to the list of questionable events that we are just supposed to accept. This movie is a dick to Cherie's emotions.
I'm hungry. And
She says this, then turns on the TV, and Anderson Cooper is back to say the very piece of news she wanted Bilbo to learn.
the beads. I had them bugged before you ever even got there.
Despite appearing to not know how any of it works, the CIA was just able to bug Wakandan technology. This looks like a Dr. Evil lair.
Let's start by running a comparative analysis between our attempts at creating a synthetic heart-shaped herb and the fibers from this bracelet.
Luckily, Namor gave Cherie this bracelet. Without it, she might not have been able to create the synthetic heart-shaped herb. Here's a scene where Cherie is going to figure out how to synthetically recreate a magic powers bequeathing flower faster than Tony Stark invented time travel in Endgame.
If we could find a way to dry his ass out, he won't be as strong.
That is highly speculative, and I'm guessing 100% correct.
So who taught you how to do all that you do?
My big brother.
He did not.
I was the tip of the spear of Wakanda's army. This is not me.
I don't know what being just the tip has to do with this body armor. Okoye has fought the Talakans and knows how formidable they are. And as a general, she should know when a better weapon is necessary. The whole anti-technology stance is here only to build a tension that the movie doesn't need.
You have such a rebellious spirit. Why did you join the Dora?
Why do you care?
Anika's great and deserved to be a bigger part of this movie. You should always wear a mask when using a spray paint gun this close to your damn face. All the DNA balls turn green now, so I guess she figured out how to do the thing. But this feels like a child putting the right shaped blocks in the right shaped holes, and the reward is the cure for cancer. So Griot, the AI, will now 3D print a synthetic heart flower that will give abilities to whoever eats it. And that's a lot to ask of 3D printable materials. Did Nakia need to be sitting here like she's been here the whole time, or could she have walked in and announced herself like a normal person?
How would we know if it works?
If it glows.
How is the physical property of glowing tied to its effectiveness at giving superpowers? I'm certain you can fuck up and make a flower that just glows and that's it. Like, maybe run some tests on that shit.
I need you to have access to my chest, just in case I go through cardiac arrest.
Speaking of that, why does Wakanda have no other medical personnel to assist right now? They couldn't all have jumped in the water earlier. Is it really necessary to drink this while lying down? Would it really be so bad to take a sip beforehand, or does the ritual require liquid to uncomfortably pool in the back of your throat? As they celebrate the arrival of the new Cherie Black Panther, I regret to inform you that this movie still has 41 minutes left.
Was my mother's life not worth eternal war?
Of course it was.
Hold the fucking phone here, folks. I humbly submit that no single life is worth eternal war. God fucking damn.
Namor drowned her! Right in front of me!
He did not. He drowned her well before you got there.
So her dreams, her goals, her hopes for me.
God damn, Letitia Wright is kicking ass in this movie.
What matters is what I want. And what I want is Namor dead.
In this movie, both Queen Ramonda and Cherie put their personal feelings ahead of what is good for their people. It's confusing, and I don't know why M'Baku doesn't challenge her for the mantle of Black Panther right now.
If you go to war for vengeance, it will not fill the hole left from her loss.
But if she goes to war to preemptively avoid a larger war, like as a strategic decision, then it's okay and the hole insider will be filled. Told you, I do not like this Ironheart suit design one bit.
For the Queen.
Long live the Queen! Wait, who is Riri talking to right now? All these women warriors jump off the boat with a single tether tied to their lower backs, and the Wakandan chiropractic industry is about to have a moment.
Gotcha.
Needlessly announcing your presence before taking the shot. Movie thought it was Hunt for Red Octobering when it was really just battle shipping.
It is time.
Was the element of surprise so important that Okoye and Anika couldn't have helped out earlier? Because it feels like they could have saved a lot of lives by joining in at the beginning of the battle instead of waiting for an undramatic and unsurprising entrance. Cherie fights Namor, but in typical MCU fashion, I have no f***ing clue what's happening. As fun as these things look to throw, where is that sonic gun that she murdered that woman with earlier? It seemed very effective. How does she control the mask of the armor suit she was very recently reluctant to even wear? I love how Cherie and Namor's big fight takes place on some nameless sandy beach, just like the climax of my favorite movie, Mission Impossible 2.
Wakanda Forever!
Did Cherie know those engines were still functional, or was this a lucky guess? That ship exploded into a million pieces. There was no reason to believe this would work. Cherie has a series of real and fictional flashbacks where she realizes she and Namor have more in common than she previously thought, and I'm just exhausted at this point as a viewer. Just f***ing end already.
You'd and Wakanda will protect your oceans. We will protect your secrets.
Namor wanted war with the surface people, but I'm still not sure why working together to protect each other wasn't discussed as an option before he outright kidnapped Cherie and started a war with Wakanda. Super awkward that these people all had to stop mid-climb. Like, if your house's foundational pillars are wood beams permanently submerged in water, just how sturdy is that house? So she has planted a garden of artificial flowers, and I guess I'm just not sure why they needed to be planted anyway, since they are artificial. Why not store them in a drawer? Why not print them on demand as needed?
Took me a while to find all the parts from the river.
I bet it did. Wait, when the f did you do that?
The Black Panther sends her regards, but she will not be joining us today. I, M'Baku, leader of the Jabari tribe, son of Wakanda, wish to challenge for the throne.
Well, this is just a fun way to raise several questions about the succession of the mantle and the throne, but not answer a single one of them. Don't breathe that.
I have a bad feeling about this mission.
Please elaborate.
That's the same feeling I had about Mardi Gras 1987.
Yeah, it's astonishing.
Huh? Never seen one that big, have you?
Doors open, beds made. Welcome home.
Mickey's a mouse, Donald's a duck, Pluto's a dog. What's Goofy?
It's not the Americans that I'm worried about.
I know their tactics. I have the advantage.
Princess, American law enforcement has arrived at your location.
Who is that? My AI.
Girl, do you seriously keep a robot down here to talk to?
Then pelvic thrust.
How it feels to chew 5 gum. Stimulate your senses.
I'm Scuba Sam, Scuba Steve's father.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
I will come to Wakanda, and I will kill you.
I will kill your infant daughter.